Today's topic is how to use crimping beads. Crimping beads are mainly used to hold things in place. They're used in place of knots a lot. As you work more and more with jewelry, you'll find other ways of using them, such as holding beads in place on a wire and letting the wire show through between the beads. But here's how to use them, and here's the basic tools you'll need to use crimping beads. In order to use crimping beads, you'll need some beading wire, and you'll really want to use wire and not thread. Crimping beads don't work nearly as well with thread. You'll need the crimping beads. These are specially made beads. They're not the typical round beads. They're thinner. They crimp better. And one thing you'll definitely need is a crimping tool. It has a special shape at the tip to crimp the bead without getting seams or splitting the bead. To use a crimping bead, first thing you're going to do is go ahead and string it on the wire. There, you've got it on the wire. And then if you want to attach something, say like the jump ring that's the other end of a clasp you're using, thread that on the wire behind the crimp bead, and then you're going to bring your wire, bend it around whatever you're threading around, and then you're going to gently thread it back through the crimping bead. So what you end up with is an entire loop. So once you've got your crimp ring or your crimp bead in place, in this case we're using it to hold on a jump ring onto a piece of wire, pushed it back down against there, then you're going to take your crimping tool, place the bead in one of the little grooves right there in the crimping tool, and then just apply some real gentle pressure to squeeze the bead, and that's going to shape the bead and also hold the wire in place. You let up and you've got a nice crimped bead. Another way to use crimping beads is to hold other bigger beads in place. This is common in the floating effect jewelry that's become popular. What you do is you just slide your crimp bead onto the spot that you want it on the wire, take your crimping tool just like before, grab the bead, put it where you want it, crimp it down so that it's stuck on the wire right there. Then what you can do is thread another bead onto your wire, slide it right down to that crimp bead, slide that bead snug down against the crimp bead that you just placed, and then slide another crimp bead on the other side of that bead, nice and snug up against there. Go ahead and take your crimping tool, crimp that other bead down right up against that bead, and there you've got a bead that will stay in place on that piece of jewelry. It's not going to move around. The crimp beads also make good spacers. If you have beads you want to use that really shouldn't be touching or rubbing against each other, they're perfect for keeping the space between the beads. And that's how to use crimp beads.